We're very pleased today to be able to present to you the introduction to the new ClinicalTrials.gov site out of the US. And to present this new site to us, we have Christina Robinson, who is the Technical Information Specialist at the National Library of Medicine. She currently serves as product owner for development of the beta ClinicalTrials.gov website. And in this role, she supports the team of user experiences, researchers, designers, and web development experts building the modernized website. Over the past 18 years, Christina has grown from a clinical research editor to a leader in research communications and technology. As an agile leader, she brings together the needs of patients, data providers, data researchers, and other stakeholders to find solutions that work within the regulatory framework established for ClinicalTrials.gov. There's been a great deal of interest from our community in taking a look at this new site, and we're privileged to have Christina here to give us an overview of the modernization effort. Welcome, Christina.
Thank you so much for that introduction, Anne-Marie. I'm so glad to be here today and to be able to share some of this information with you and with your attendees. So as Anne-Marie said, my name is Christina Robinson, and I'm product owner for the development of the new ClinicalTrials.gov, which is currently in beta form. So I want to talk just a little bit about the modernization project overall. So this started in August of 2019, and I want to point out quickly that ClinicalTrials.gov was initially released to the public in January of 2000. So this site is over 20 years old now, and while there have been several enhancements over the years, it was initially and is still a homegrown product, and so we want to do some updates based on both technologies. As we all know, those have advanced quite a bit in recent years, in particular over the last couple of decades, but also to, as you see here, improve the user experience, upgrade that infrastructure, as I was just mentioning, and then support the existing legal, regulatory, and policy framework. And our hope is that in this modernization process, we will be future-proofing ourselves against or for additional, environmental changes that may, require us to continue to make those updates. We're never done improving ClinicalTrials.gov, but we want to make it a little bit easier on ourselves in the future. Going back to that modernization effort that began in August of 2019, we released an RFI at the end of that year to collect, that's request for information, to collect information from all of our user groups. Our main user groups are patients, data submitters, and then data researchers. And I want to just point out quickly that the data submitters are really the people who provide the data about each of those studies for our users. So we also at that time established a working group from the National Library of Medicine's Board of Regents, and they have continued to monitor our progress and provide key input throughout the last few years. As you see here, we started with that engagement that I just mentioned, the RFI. We've also done lots of additional research directly with users since then. We've had focus groups and interviews, usability testing, and we started, that was all throughout the first year we were doing that work. And then in the second year, we really, we dove headfirst into that development process, building out the infrastructure for the new site. That work continues. And then, really building out what we call a minimum viable product. So, the primary purpose of ClinicalTrials.gov obviously is to make those studies available to the public. And so, as that MVP, we made the homepage and the search and the study record pages available because we know those are really the focus of the website. And so in December of 2021, that takes us into year 3, we began that implementation, making all of that available to the public. We launched the first beta website, the first version of the beta website in December of 2021, so just under a year ago now. And we've made several updates since then, which you'll see in just a moment. And then we'll continue making improvements during years 4 and 5 and making those available to the public, and continue collecting input and feedback, and really making things the best that we possibly can over the next couple of years as modernization continues and then wraps up. As you see here, there is already available on the ClinicalTrials.gov a report on the first 2 years of that modernization effort. And we've recently made available another report for the 3rd year of the modernization effort. So you can see there some of the highlights in the 2021-2022 report. And then 2023 is really all about those updates that we've continued to make available to the public over the last 10 months. So this is a very high-level overview of the changes that we've made to the website over the last 10 months. We have continued to refine the search and search results. We've made search results available in tabular form. Search results are available for download. We've continued to make improvements to the study record page. Release notes, which I'll show during my demonstration, are where you go to see what's been updated or added with each release. And then of course there's a glossary. So you'll see we've made 3 releases since last December, and we'll continue to do so over the next year. So in terms of the process, we released the website in December of 2021. That's available in parallel to the existing ClinicalTrials.gov, and it will remain that way for some time. We are there in the 2nd phase that you see, where we're continuously adding features to the beta website. And we'll continue until we've added all of the features that we know our users need to meet their goals on the website, to be able to accomplish the tasks that they need. The 3rd phase will be sometime next year. I can't say exactly when, but we know that at some point next year, the beta website will actually become the primary website. When you go to ClinicalTrials.gov, you will see the new website. But the classic website will still be available in parallel. It'll just be secondary to the new one. And then eventually, at some point down the road, we will retire the classic ClinicalTrials.gov. You know, it is difficult to maintain 2 systems, and so we want to streamline our processes and continue to be as efficient as possible. Okay, with that, I would like to do a quick demonstration of the beta ClinicalTrials.gov website. So this is the beta website. I want to give sort of, for anyone who may not have already visited, an overview of the entire website, but I'll make it brief and just highlight some of the most important features. Obviously, the look and feel is completely different from the classic ClinicalTrials.gov. We have tried to update the user interface, or UI, so that it's welcoming, friendly, easier to read and understand, and we want to make the most important information available up front. So obviously, the search really is the most crucial piece of the website. We have what we call here an enhanced search. This combines the basic and advanced search functionality that you have on the classic ClinicalTrials.gov. On this page, you can actually customize the search to be as specific or leave it as broad as you might want. This action bar across the top here allows you to do that with the Select Fields button. You can add all fields or reset to the default, which is what you see currently. Over to the far right of that blue bar that I just called the action bar is your actual search button. Down here you have conditions or disease, and you can see that we have some pre-populated examples of queries And for the purposes of this study, I'm going to do a search for breast cancer. And you can see that as you type, we're making auto-suggestions, autocomplete suggestions for the searches that might be relevant to you. For the purposes of this study, I'm going to do, or for this demonstration, excuse me, I am going to look for a study that has study results. And we're going to look for studies that are funded by the National Institutes of Health. This is the search results. So you see here on the left-hand side a light blue panel that has all of the same fields and search criteria that you saw on the homepage under select fields. And you can see that this is pre-populated with the search that we entered. If we scroll down, you'll see that search studies with results are available, along with studies that are funded by the National Institutes of Health. I have currently 357 studies, and I want to narrow that down a little bit more. Perhaps I'm a patient and I'm looking for a study near me to join. So I am going to do a quick search. Let's do a search for a study in St. John. And that narrows us down to 8 studies. This actually, the location search here uses an integration of the Google Maps API, Application Programming Interface, and that's why you see those suggested locations as you enter that. On the right-hand side here, you'll see what we call a card view. So each of the studies available in this list is available on a card with some high-level information about that particular study. Here in the top left corner of that card, you'll see that the study status, this one, for example, is completed. There's a button here with results that'll take you to the results section of the record. The title, the conditions, and you'll see these in different colors based on their relevance to your search criteria, and then the locations. We looked for studies near St. John, and so that's what we see currently. Clicking on Show All Locations will take you to the location section of the study record. And I just want to point out here, if you see studies, actually I can demonstrate this, with multiple locations, if you've entered a location into your search, those are going to be ordered by distance. If you haven't entered a location, you'll see United States locations first, alphabetized by state, and then by country. I want to narrow my search just a little bit more. So I'm going to look for a study with hormone therapy and the National Cancer Institute. So you can see here that we also have the ability to use Boolean operators. There is some information on the classic ClinicalTrials.gov if you need some information about how to use those operators. Okay, so next I'm going to actually go into a study record to show you what the study record looks like. So I've clicked all locations to go into the study record to go directly to the location information here, and you'll see a map. Again, this is the Google's map integration along with the list of study sites. When the study is actively recruiting or not yet recruiting, you'll see contact information for each of those study sites. This study is complete, it's no longer recruiting, so that information is not available at this time. You can also see up above, some data providers opt to include a central contact up here at the top. Again, that's not going to be available at this point because the study is done recruiting. I do want to share that there's some additional functionality here that might not immediately be obvious. Clicking on the site in St. John will actually adjust the list on the left-hand side so that you can see the information for that study site. So you see that fun scroll all the way to the bottom of the list. But then if I got curious about one of these others, I can click on, for example, Winnipeg, and the map will adjust to take me to the Winnipeg site. You can also zoom in and zoom out on the map. And you can see here that this study has lots and lots of sites, which we already knew based on that card in the search results. I'm going to go back to the search results just for a minute because I completely forgot. There's breadcrumbs up here across the top. And for anyone who wants to see a more condensed view of the search results, that just gives you lots more information at a glance, we do have a table view as well. That's up here in the top right-hand corner of the search results. You can toggle there between the card view and the table view. Going back into the study record, apologies for having to backtrack just a little bit, you can see here that we have some, again, high-level information about the study across the top of the study record, such as the title, the NCT number, the responsible party, and the date that that record was last updated. So this one has actually been updated quite recently. The study record dates here, and then a little bit of an overview about the study. And as you look down this left-hand side, there's a navigation panel here that will actually take you to different sections of the study record. If you're interested in seeing publications that have been included by the data provider, you can see those there. More information will include the record history. If there's information about medical subject headings that's related terms, you can see those there. And there's just lots of really great information available in the study. I'm going to scroll back up to the top just a little bit. And because this study has results available, you'll see there's a whole nother tab over here to the right-hand side where all of the results are available. And that section of the study record is going to look very similar to this one, except that the study results are presented in table form. I want to point out just a few more key features. We do have up at the top right-hand corner, the main site menu at this time has information that will give you an overview of clinical research if you want to learn about studies. There is a Learn About FHIR that has to do with data interoperability. There's a glossary available for anyone who wants to understand the terms that we use on the site. But you can also access that by clicking any of these little info icons. You'll see a little blue circle with an I in the middle, and that'll pop out the glossary panel. From there, you can actually search for additional terms in this field, or you can click on any of the hyperlinked terms to see the definitions for those particular terms. In the About section, we have a page about ClinicalTrials.gov, and finally, the release notes that I mentioned earlier. Those release notes will tell you what's been changed with each of the releases as they're made available. Those are summarized and ordered chronologically by date. And that completes the website demonstration. Okay, so having given you all of the wonderful things that are already available on the beta ClinicalTrials.gov, I want to talk just a little bit about some of the things that are coming. You can see across the top there most of the things that I just mentioned. In the middle, we have the features that we've already started work on. That'll be a tabular view of the study record information. The study record history, we'll be making that available on the beta website. Currently, we link back to the classic ClinicalTrials.gov. And of course, there's lots of information that we need to create or migrate to from the classic ClinicalTrials.gov to the beta website. In future months and possibly even into next year, we'll work on the application programming interface for folks who want to download lots of data at a time. We'll make download available in XML. We'll provide connections to trusted health information, the next steps for those who are interested in joining a study. And then finally, onboarding users. We know lots of folks come to ClinicalTrials.gov and don't necessarily land on the homepage. They might do a Google search to find a study on breast cancer and then land on a study record. And so we want to make sure that everyone who comes to ClinicalTrials.gov knows where they are and what they can accomplish on the website. That's what we mean when we say onboarding users. All right, so next I want to make sure that you're all aware that you can give us feedback on the website at any time. In the bottom right-hand corner of every page on the website, you'll see a little green button that says Give Feedback. We want to hear what's working well, what needs to be improved, what might be missing beyond what I just shared in that list of features that are already in development and still coming. And if you're interested in participating as a volunteer, we are always looking for input through usability testing sessions, asynchronous activities. We can provide you activities to do from the comfort of your own home as you have time. All of those things are really, really helpful. And so if you are interested in doing that, just submit one of those comments in the feedback under the feedback button and provide your contact information. We'd love to have input, in particular from our users who are, patients, caregivers, or just members of the lay public. All of that is really, really valuable. And now is the time to be giving that feedback as we're still building. Everything is a test at this point. We're testing and seeing what works and what doesn't. And the more input that you give us, the better it's going to meet all of your needs. So please feel free to do that at any time. Finally, we are doing more communications. We want to make sure users know what's happening in terms of the beta products, both clinical trials and our data submission portal. And so there have been blog posts. We've put out technical bulletins. We're now communicating on social media, so you can follow the National Library of Medicine or NCBI, which is our National Center for Biomedical Information. We're putting it out on LinkedIn. We're putting it out on Twitter and Facebook. So, feel free to follow us at any of those on any of those platforms. We do have a hot off the PRS e-bulletin that's specifically for our data providers. So the information for the webinars and other things are included there, but the majority of those emails may or may not be useful to patients and members of the public. And then we have meetings with stakeholders. We continue to get input from lots of different people with different interests in ClinicalTrials.gov. And finally, there is a banner across the top of the classic ClinicalTrials.gov that will take you to the beta website and will give you updates periodically. And with that, I will pause and say thank you so much for your time and attention and take questions.
Christina, the passion with which you presented the demonstration in particular is very appreciated. We can see that you've got a lot of personal investment in what is happened here. So congratulations on the site. And I think one of the things that I liked a lot is what I call the ongoing fluidity, the ability that it's not stop and done, that the commitment here is that we'll consistently build, we'll consistently change. It's a very organic process where you're gaining a lot of experience and input from the community in general. So great job. Thank you so much for presenting. As Christina said, we're ready now to take questions from the audience. We know we have several coming in, so I'll take them in order in which they've come into the system. And here we are live. Welcome back, Christina. Thank you for a wonderful presentation. Nice to see you again. There is indeed not just questions, but a lot of wonderful compliments on the terrific work that you and the team have done. So congratulations on that. I'm going to take the questions and feed them to you in order in which they've come in. And the goal here really is to have a wonderful conversation again about the terrific work that's been done. So the first question here is there a feature to receive notifications by email of any new trials that may open in your desired disease area?
Oh, great question. That is a feature on the classic system. It is something that we are investigating. We certainly want to make that available to users with the new system as well. We're hoping that the experience can be, a more modernized version. On the classic system, we do have RSS available. RSS is, not really a common technology to use anymore, and so we want to find something that'll be a little bit easier for more users, and you would ideally be able to get updates on searches that you've performed or even specific study records. So yes, that is definitely something that we hope to make available.
Okay, perfect. There is another question here that says, again, as a compliment in front of it, looks much easier to navigate than the original site, and I think that was a key goal. Will there be the ability to save search terms to ease repeat searches over time?
Yes, absolutely, and it would actually be part of that search, that feature that I was just mentioning. It would be the ability to save or get updates on single studies or searches for particular kinds of studies. And so, again, that'll actually probably be rolled out as a single feature, and it would be sometime next year.
Okay. And I'll build on the question that just came in here. Is there going to be features for people with disabilities during the revamp?
Yes, absolutely. We are actually checking accessibility as we go. We are building it to be as accessible as we possibly can. We do have an expert on accessibility who consults and reviews all of the work that we do. She is at this point doing it before we release anything to the public. It does get reviewed.
Fantastic. It's as easy as the site looks to navigate. We always know that there will be people who have difficulties and trouble. Is there agents or some kind of supporting system in place in case someone does have a difficult time navigating their clinical trial search?
So we do have the possibility of giving feedback on the website. It's not going to be in the moment that you submit that feedback, but we will take that feedback and we can route it under some circumstances to folks who will reach out and help you. It may not always be quite as quickly as you might like, but we do also review that feedback on the website on a regular basis, anywhere from a few days to a couple of weeks, and we do make the updates regularly based on the feedback that we're getting.
Fantastic. So there's a lot of questions here regarding, are you receiving a lot of feedback from patients and caregivers specifically? And people, you touched on it a little bit in your presentation, but I think people are very curious to understand what kind of feedback you're getting, the nature of that feedback, particularly from the patient community and the caregiver community.
Sure, absolutely. We don't always know who's given the feedback. You can provide it anonymously. It seems that we are getting some feedback from patients and members of the public. Certainly, I would love to know that we're getting more. My goal in the modernization process is to make sure that the new website works as well for patients as the old one has for the data submitters and data researchers. We know that we've served those groups well over the years, and we want to make sure that the patient's experience is just as good. For anyone who's interested in providing feedback, there is a green button in the bottom right-hand corner, and that is available on every page throughout the website, where you can give feedback. And if you're interested in participating in usability testing, if you want to volunteer, if you want to take a sneak peek at some of the features that are coming and provide your thoughts on that, just submit a feedback with your name and your email address, or maybe even your phone number, and we'll reach out to you. We're always looking for folks to participate in those activities. Usability moderated sessions where someone might show you those features and interview you takes about an hour. If you want to do other types of activities on your own time, they can be 15 to 20 minutes. So please, by all means, give us feedback and volunteer if you want to have that little preview.
Right. Thank you for being that open around it. One of the things I was curious about is how the site embraced the concepts of plain language and how the team actually engaged in getting the help it needed to get to a plain language. It's a very complex thing to do in many ways. Maybe you could talk a little bit about that process.
Absolutely. I do want to just sort of clarify up front that there are limitations to the information that we can provide in plain language. The data around the studies themselves belong to those who submit the data. We don't own the study data. We're a library, right? We make the information available. We have shelves full of books, or in this case, digital records. And so the information that you see about the study is really from those folks. And so they have to make it available in plain language. And there's some difficulties in doing so in some cases, but information about the site, information about clinical research, some of the words we use to describe things, all of that we are striving to make available in plain language. And we do actually use some experts in the field of plain language. There's a group by the name of Health Literacy Media, HLM. They are wonderful. They have helped us develop the content that exists on the site currently on the beta website, and they'll continue helping us, throughout the modernization process.
There's a great suggestion here from one of our audience members who says, how about some videos navigation style videos for patients to be put on the site? What do you think?
We've already recorded them. They're coming.
There you go. Fantastic. Thank you so much. We only have another moment here, Christina, and I'm going to close on what is a big question, which is, with all that with all the tremendous work that you and the team have done, what do you hope the site to look like 5 years from now? What do you really want it to be, and how does the community in general help you support that vision of making it the best thing it can possibly be?
One of the things that I think would be really great for us to know is how to reach out to patients and the public and, caregivers, family members, patient advocates. We have frequent communications with data researchers and data submitters because they have requirements that they have to meet according to the law. It's a little bit more difficult for us sometimes to reach those folks, and I want to make sure that we continue to get their input over the years, that we continue to meet their needs, that we're not just, putting all of this effort in over these few years and then don't continue to do that. I really want ClinicalTrials.gov to be the best site it can possibly be for everyone who uses it.
Mm-hmm. Well, with the work you've done so far, it's been great. Thank you again to you and the team. It's been really wonderful from a Canadian perspective to connect with the team in the US, and we hope for further conversations in the future. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you, and thanks for all the wonderful feedback and questions.